THORnews presents, we have entered the super doom zone. I am issuing an official danger zone, stay alert, be prepared, remain cool, warning to any and all, starting now and lasting through the end of 2013. This is an official THORnews alert. Warning. These are strange days and they just keep getting weirder. And be ready for anything. The quickening has gotten quicker and I don't know what the big boys' plans are, but I feel like they're going to do something big next. These are strange days that keep getting stranger. How weird is the news of the day? Over the weekend, we got an influx of news and data that sure made it seem like something wicked this way comes. Terror attacks, Cold War renewed, North Korea nuke, EMP, economic collapse, bacteria virus, comet of the century, volcanoes, sinkholes, train derailments, asteroids, World War III, Fukushima. Banks are now above the law, money is the lifeblood of modern civilization, and war is the most profitable game in town. Plus a global population that is tired, angry, confused, overworked, in debt, divided and conquered, trapped, blaming everyone for everything that ever happened. Plus, Skynet gets more powerful every day. Now that that is out of the way, let us get into the news of the day. This is not doom porn. This is all very real. This is the status quo state of affairs right now. I have been focused on the signs in the heavens because they are everywhere here on Earth. God bless everyone. These are the leading factors that led me to my alert. On Sunday, the United States of America government put all of America on alert for the entire month of August 2013 because of credible intel that shows the terrorists have a team that is qualified and capable in place, and they have some ingenious new weapons. When Homeland Security announced the biggest threats to the world since 9/11, any and all media companies that are owned and controlled by the world's most successful, powerful, and profitable LLCs didn't bat an eyelash or find the time and or motivation to convey to Americans that this is real. Very, very, very real. Now we literally are a world away from 1999. Oh, how we've changed. Al-Qaeda is planning an attack that's going to be big and strategically significant. A major terror plot underway, and the team to carry it out is in place. The part that is alarming is the confidence they showed while communicating in the air of certainty. The most serious threat I've seen in years. And countries warned to stay alert after prison breaks. So this prompted the United States to close over 20 embassies across the entire world. But our politicians are putting aside their acrimonious disputes and distaste for each other to rally to fight terrorists and the terrorist threat. And they're prepared to do a drastic response. We're warned that Al-Qaeda has mutated, like how they've gone from sheep farmers to lizard people or something. Oh, and Lindsey Graham links the terrorism opening to the sequester cuts. Obviously, if our government had more money, they could win the war of hearts and minds. Congressional leaders agreed to a drastic response to the terrorist threat. Now, I believe we invaded Iraq and Afghanistan in response to the terrorism, and we probably have action going on in 20 other countries. So I would wonder if that is the normal, what drastic would be. The most serious threat I've seen in the last several years, Mr. McCall said on Face the Nation. I must say this is probably one of the most specific and credible threats I've seen since perhaps 9/11. And that's why everybody's taking it so seriously. Well, for all this attention, I definitely hope it's way more credible than the weapons of mass destruction and yellow uranium cake data they got out of Iraq, because that turned out not to be true. And going to war should never be your first response. Should always be your last response when all other options are excluded. It's like someone mentioned from Zero Hedge. And Lindsey Graham also cautioned against allowing the United States to be driven out of the Middle East completely. Well, considering we've got our hands in the foreign policy of pretty much every country in the Middle East, I don't think we could ever be driven out completely. Terror threat, chatter, chit-chat, terrorist chit-chat, scary stuff. Alright, so how scared should you be? Well, I forget the terror chart. Pretty sure at this point it's red, right? Like it's gotta be red, I forget. So when I found this information on the conspiracy sites I check often, because they're interesting, and so I click over to Fox, thinking that Fox, is gonna have a heyday. They got a big boner over this stuff, man. They love fighting terrorists. It's what they live for. And over at Fox News, they're not talking about it. It is the fourth story, U.S. specific threat. See, like if you look, Fox really isn't that interested in it. I mean, they have as many stories on it as they do Snowden. I did think this was interesting on Fox though. They say, is global warming causing extreme weather. Well, at least they admit that there is extreme weather. I'm pretty sure it's solar system related, but that is not a subject for this video. And over at Fox, $250 Verizon device lets hackers take over your phone. How the Bible app is changing the face of religion, and the FBI can remotely activate microphones in Android smartphones, source says. Or as a friend once told me, iPhones and cell phones are just unarmed drones. And so the FBI says, it ain't us. And I guess the FBI is saying the only reason we're spying on you is so we can spy on the Russians who are listening to you. Anyway, I have a personal policy. It's called On Blast. You're on blast 24/7. You always have to assume that everything you do is being videotaped, audio taped. Everywhere you go on the internet is being tracked. And this barely made the news. Yeah, so some goose-stepping North Korean military guys wearing big backpack that had obvious yellow and black radiation symbols painted on them did like a dance, stomped on an American flag, and attempted to show off an arsenal of tactical nuclear suitcase bombs as a propaganda stunt aimed at sowing fear in the West. An official from the West said, "We don't take that seriously because they probably painted the radiation symbol over some Hello Kitty backpacks they stole from Japan. No one believes that North Korea has the technology to make a miniature nuclear bomb like that." Well, that may or may not be true, but I believe that North Korea has the technology to make friends with somebody who might have that technology who does not like us or would profit and benefit from a suitcase nuke being detonated in America. It's not a good sign. A country that hates your guts putting on some play parade saying they're gonna backpack nuke us. My dad always said, trust no one. So you have to take everything with a grain of salt. Like, it's a vet all sources, and even at the end of the day, you have to find the truth yourself. And if there is distraction, disinformation, and there is much profit to be made from sowing confusion, strife, idiocy. So if the people who say the government tries to distract us at times from what the bigger pictures might be, I've said many times, if there is real hardcore doom, it's usually in economics, because the central bank economic principles of print at warp speed have been insane. Like, how long can that continue? I don't know, but I think that's where any real problems lie. And usually if there is a major economic catastrophe, that usually leads to social instability and war. And well, on an economic front, it hasn't been good. Like, Detroit just filed bankruptcy. That's bad. And there are rumors that Chicago could be the next to go. That's bad. Apparently Chicago is $29 billion in debt. And there are fears that Chicago is next to go after their bond rating has dropped. They hold nearly $29 billion in debt, and the city has been surviving by not fully funding its $1.5 billion actuarially required contribution to its 4 underfunded city employee pension funds. These pension funds have been entirely depleted. And he says, we're going to fix it. This is about matching revenues with expenses. You don't want to overtax people. I guess he's trying to say you want to tax them just right. Point right before they break. So you got Detroit going bankrupt. Chicago could be next. And then the squid, King Daddy himself, Goldman Sachs, has been named in a large lawsuit over manipulation and damn near monopoly of the aluminum market. And you may say, hey, how does this affect me? Well, odds are you probably drink soda pop, and there's aluminum in soda pop. So like, let's say they baked in a profit of 5 cents per soda pop can. I mean, seriously, like, this is speculation, but like, let's say Goldman Sachs has built a profit into everything. I don't think it's smart to sue Goldman Sachs. As we saw with the major storm that hit and flooded New York, was the only building that was still illuminated. So it's pretty crystal clear that Goldman Sachs is in a large power position. So they won. It's like, congrats to them. They figured out the game and they won Earth. So I don't think suing them is such a wise idea. And Goldman Sachs does say, we believe this suit is without merit and we intend to vigorously contest it. And then in the super scary, bond losses at Federal Reserve top $192 billion. Now, trying to help America get out of its big economic hole that was caused by bankers in 2008, Federal Reserve has given bankers over $4 trillion to help them fix themselves. Now, I don't think that's wise. Probably not wise at all. Instead of arresting the people who could have possibly brought down the entire global system, caused a period of lawlessness, they should have probably been reprimanded, arrested, gone to jail, instead of just being given trillions of dollars. That is bad. But anyway, so Fed is taking on a lot of debts, toxic debts, to help keep the banks liquid. So when the Fed starts losing money, that is not a good sign at all. Because, I mean, the Fed owns like 20 to 30% of the entire bond market. So if bonds go bad, that is bad for the economy, man. As Bill Flickstein says, it all goes back to bonds. They are the canary in the coal mine. I wouldn't call them a canary. I would call them the Godzilla in the coal mine. And then we got havoc overseas as big old bank HSBC prepares to close diplomatic accounts. Now, I don't really understand this story. I find it really weird that they've told a lot of people to just close their accounts at HSBC, and those people are freaking out. They're diplomats from a lot of the embassies, which are being closed now, I think. So, why everybody's picking on embassies, I don't know. But you may remember HSBC's name because A, they just announced they're going to have to cut a whole bunch of jobs. B, they had really great profits surge as their bad loans fall and were written off. And D, HSBC has been accused many times of laundering money, breaking laws, messing with all the wrong people, lying, cheating, stealing. The economy added fewer jobs than expected, but the unemployment rate fell. How does that work? Called government math. And in food doom, China and Russia suspend powdered milk exports, which are 15% of all the exports of New Zealand, after 3 batches of the whey protein were contaminated with botulism, causing bacteria, which is weird because the powdered milk was genetically modified. You'd think genetically modified stuff would be superior than natural, but no. And a probe finds that almost all the banks rigged a brand new rate and a market and have screwed everybody again. The ISDA fix is used to value derivatives, swaps, and swapations. The amount of derivatives underlying swapations contracts outstanding as of July 26th totaled $29.5 trillion. $29.5 trillion. So the banks have been double and triple dipping out of that jar and then pissing in it. And since nothing happened to them in the LIBOR scandal, they were ripping off cookies and pissing in the cookie jar in the LIBOR scandal. $300 trillion of securities, which they said was just the tip of the iceberg. If nothing happened on the LIBOR, I'm pretty sure nothing's going to happen here. And the collective group of bank individuals who are doing this call themselves Treasure Island. And technically, the thing is about this interest rate is that companies, pension funds, and investment firms use these kind of derivatives to hedge against losses or speculate on interest rate fluctuations. And they influence trillions of dollars in securities and derivatives, where $4.7 trillion is exchanged every day, and that traders may have manipulated the key rates for more than a decade. In 3 years, ISDA fix will be a bigger story and could be potentially bigger than LIBOR in terms of damages. Well, LIBOR, nobody got in trouble really for LIBOR, because here's the whole deal. The Attorney General, Eric Holder, has pretty much gone on record to say that in a bailout economy, we cannot prosecute banks for crimes because that would hurt the economy. It's not only are the banks too large to fail, they are now too large to prosecute. So we live in a world where bankers really are above the law and run the show. Is it a quid pro quo? We give you free money, you let us do whatever we want? I guess that wouldn't be the first time in history. Oh, U.S. oil giants are now burning cash. This is pretty funny. Exxon has $5 billion in cash, the lowest level in more than a decade. They're doing great. And the reason they're low on cash is because they've been spending a lot of cash to buy their own stocks at about $5 billion per quarter in the last 2 years. So, this whole story is just weird. Exxon's like, we're low on cash. Why? We keep buying all of our own stock. What? It just doesn't make any sense. Actually, it makes total sense. And then there was news where Newt turns on the neocons. Well, that's the HuffPo. Gingrich basically says the United States' ability to export democracy needs to be reevaluated and that alternate strategies should be considered. You need to take a deep breath to ask if our strategies in the Middle East have succeeded. And maybe our capacity to export democracy is a lot more limited than we thought. Wow, you don't think using tanks, guns, and drones and bombs to give people freedom is a good idea? Well, I guess welcome to the party, pal. And he even says it's hard to argue that our policies over the last 10 years have been effective. And for extra doom, Russian warships docked in Cuba so they can hang out. Russian Prime Minister is talking badly about the West, saying we've been acting economically irresponsible and just invading countries at will. Yeah, so you got big old Russian warships just down the way. The USA is probably still mad at Russia for giving asylum to the guy who said that the USA was illegally spying on its own citizens. I have no comment about that subject. Fukushima has entered a state of emergency. Fukushima, the nuclear power plant that slowly began to break and then melt down after the tsunami hit it, has officially been declared in a state of emergency. And that could be very bad. Fukushima, 3-act doom that started earthquake, then tsunami, then nuclear plant failure. And that failure just keeps getting worse. Deep event horizon. BP poked a hole in Mother Earth's artery right by the ocean closest to Texas. And the Louisiana sinkhole ain't getting any better. So, I'm issuing a THORnews Super Doom Zone Danger Alert Warning. How scared should you be? I find it best to do due diligence on subjects that are serious as these. So when I checked the terror charts, I found too many varieties. Life is a choose-your-own adventure mixed with free will and predestiny, so pick the color that works best for you. We are literally a world away from 1999. Oh God, how much we've changed since then. Together, 8 billion strong, we can solve every single problem we face. Humanity has a chance and a choice. Love is stronger than the stars in the sky. Love will never die. So Godspeed, God bless everyone, and be on high alert and be ready for anything. These are the craziest times ever. Personally, I think the whole world should give up its addiction to war and hate and create a super awesome new system that will last until the year 3000. Spaceships and jetpacks for everyone. That's a future I want to jump into. Come on, join me. So yeah, things are bad. Things are getting worse. And try and hold faith. Because love is stronger than the stars in the sky. Love will never die. Be prepared always. And you can't find solutions to problems by sticking your head in the sand. The majority of my videos have been on celestial mechanics. You know, sun, planets in our solar system, comets. I'm not a doom junkie. I've been so obsessed with looking to the heavens for signs because I see them everywhere on Earth, everywhere. And the number seems to keep growing exponentially, even though that seems impossible because it feels like we should have reached critical mass. You would think we were close to the event horizon. And I don't know, the cynic in me would ultimately wonder, like, if reality television was Skynet singularity. I understand that most people's attitude is, what can I do to fix it? Well, I don't know. I don't have a clear, simple answer for that. But I do know that one thing would be for everybody to stand down, calm down, stop blaming everybody, stop holding anger, especially stop being angry at people you've never met. My good Jedi sense tells me that we have entered the super doom zone. A crazy world just got a little crazier. Large power plays are being made, and I don't know what the power player's next move is, but I have a feeling it's going to be a big one. Spaceships and jetpacks for everyone. That's a future I want to jump into. Come on, join me. Now, I have been focused on the signs in the heavens because they are everywhere here on Earth. God bless everyone. These are the leading factors that led me to my alert. On Sunday, the United States of America government put all of America on alert for the entire month of August 2013 because of credible intel that shows the terrorists have a team that is qualified and capable in place, and they have has gotten quicker, and I don't know what the big boys' plans are, but I feel like they're going to do something big next. These are strange days that keep getting stranger. How weird is the news of the day? Over the weekend, we got an influx of news and data that sure made it seem like something wicked this way comes. Terror attacks, Cold War renewed, North Korea nuke, EMP, economic collapse, bacteria virus, comet of the century, volcanoes, sinkholes, train derailments, asteroids, World War III, Fukushima. Banks are now above the law, money is the lifeblood of modern civilization, and war is the most profitable game in town. Plus a global population that is tired, angry, confused, overworked, in debt, divided and conquered, trapped, blaming everyone for everything that ever happened. Plus, Skynet gets more powerful every day. Now that is out of the way, let us get into the news of the day. This is not doom porn. This is all very real. This is the status quo state of affairs right now. THORnews presents, we have entered the super doom zone. I am issuing an official danger zone, stay alert, be prepared, remain cool, warning to any and all, starting now and lasting through the end of 2013. This is an official THORnews alert. Warning. These are strange days and they just keep getting weirder. And be ready for anything. The quickening